So after Islam Makhachev defeated Thiago Moises in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 31 last weekend, he made a bunch of call-outs against the top guys in the lightweight division, because for a while now, Islam Makhachev has been saying that the top guys at lightweight are completely ducking him because they're scared to fight him. So after his fight against Thiago Moises, where he got a win by 4th round submission in a very, very good performance, he called out a bunch of names including Rafael Dos Anjos, Tony Ferguson, also called out Michael Chandler on the commentary desk, and there was this whole conversation about how Michael Chandler seemed scared of Islam Makhachev and he looked like he was scared and didn't want to say yes to fighting Islam Makhachev. It then turned out that Michael Chandler was looking for a fight with Justin Gaethje, who is one of the top guys in the lightweight division right now, so he definitely wasn't scared of Islam Makhachev if he's calling out a top guy in Justin Gaethje. But Islam Makhachev has been saying for a very long time that there have been people scared of him. Well, Dan Hooker just called his bluff and kind of won a 10-8 round against Islam Makhachev over social media. He called out Islam Makhachev, said he was willing to fight him next. I think that would be a great matchup. Dan Hooker is always game for a fight, and I respect him for even calling out Islam Makhachev here, because even though Dan Hooker probably believes he's going to beat Islam Makhachev, as far as style matchups are concerned, Islam Makhachev is a heavy grappler. Dan Hooker is a guy who likes to do a lot of his work on the feet. Dan Hooker slows down as the fight goes on. Islam Makhachev is known for putting a pace on guys and doing better as the fight goes on. Stylistically, this is quite a bad matchup for Dan Hooker, but Dan Hooker called out Islam Makhachev, and he said many, many great things, like calling him out in the first place, to which Islam Makhachev responded really with some real heat. In all honesty, I very much assume this is Ali Abdulaziz on Islam Makhachev's social media pages. However, Islam Makhachev responded to Dan Hooker's call out by saying, "I have an 8-fight winning streak. This guy is 3-3 in his last 6 fights. I was looking for him a year ago, but he was scared to even mention my name. Dan the Hangman, wish you good luck in the next fights. Win and something and we can talk." So he wants Dan Hooker to get a win before he matches up against him in the lightweight division. All fair, but Dan Hooker then responded with swift justice and said, "Scared, haha, check the timeline. I went to war with Felder and Poirier while you were chirping. Both make your fight Saturday look like a tickle party. If you have a problem, we can fight in September." This is obviously true. So he's called out Islam Makhachev now officially for September. I assume he means on that pay-per-view in September, headlined by Alexander Volkanovski and Brian Ortega. Of course, Alexander Volkanovski is in Team CKB, so they like to do a lot of fights together as a group, so they don't have to do constant quarantines with individual fighters. They'd rather go all together, all do the quarantine together, and then come back and stay as a group, so they don't have to keep going back and forth between New Zealand and America. Either way, Dan Hooker said, "We'll fight in September. Let's make this happen. I'm a top 10 guy in the UFC, and I'm interested in fighting Islam Makhachev." So Islam Makhachev denied that, of course, by saying that Dan Hooker is 3-3 in his last few bouts, and fair play. Dan Hooker is coming off of a really bad loss to Michael Chandler by 1st round KO, and I'm sure in Islam Makhachev's head, he's thinking to himself, if I don't KO Dan Hooker in the 1st round, my performance against him is going to look way worse than a Michael Chandler's, who did destroy him in the 1st round. So, Dan Hooker, after realizing that Islam Makhachev had turned him down on social media, responded with a massive 10-8 round, which has started to change the way that people see Islam Makhachev whenever he says that the top guys are ducking him, because Dan Hooker says, and give me a second here, "It's just a bunch of banter to me. But if you dish it out, you better take it as well. Islam's reason for not fighting me is that I'm like 3 losses in my last 6 fights. He's 3-3 in his last 6 fights." And then in the same breath, he calls out Tony Ferguson, says Dan Hooker, about Islam Makhachev, and says, who's lost 3 in a row of his last 3 bouts. So that makes as much sense as shitting in a swimming pool. Now, I actually beg to differ here. Shitting in a swimming pool makes a lot of sense. The reactions from the people in the swimming pool are very, very hilarious. I would very much advise it for a lot of people. The reaction you get a whole pool to yourself. Nice, like, a lot of times swimming pools are crowded. So shitting in a swimming pool, you can get the luxury treatment, VIP pass, you can go anywhere you want, deep end, shallow end, diving, splashing about, whatever you want. As long as you shit in that pool and make it yours, you can own that pool. So I disagree with the last statement. However, people have now started to realize, hang on a second, Islam Makhachev did call out Tony Ferguson, and then Islam Makhachev doubled down. on MMA On Point's Instagram. If they're going to give me a choice, let's do it against Tony. Khabib was supposed to fight him 5 or 6 times. Let's finish this, you know? After doing that, Islam Makhachev, calling out Tony Ferguson as the guy you would prefer to take on next, when he is 0-3, and I believe 38 years of age, and extremely old, and very clearly not the same Tony Ferguson anymore. In my opinion, I don't want to see Islam Makhachev versus Tony Ferguson, because I feel like Islam Makhachev would just be in half guard on top of Tony Ferguson for as long as he wants to be as that fight goes on. It's very clear now that Tony Ferguson doesn't quite have the explosivity that he used to have, and grapplers seem to be able to just lay on top of him and control him on the ground, like Beneil Dariush, like Charles Oliveira. In my opinion, the Islam Makhachev-Tony Ferguson fight doesn't tell me anything. I want to see Islam Makhachev against a guy who's still somewhat in his prime, who wants to fight him, because I think it makes it way more interesting. I wouldn't mind a Dan Hooker versus Islam Makhachev matchup, but people are starting to realise the top comment on this post is, Tony's on a 3-fight L streak, but he won't fight Dan Hooker, who's 3-3 in his last 6 against great competition opponents. And listen to Dan Hooker's last few opponents. Michael Chandler, who was a top Bellator guy who came over to the UFC. Number 5 in the world at the time, Edson Barboza, of course that was a loss. Dustin Poirier, number 3 in the world at the time, now maybe considered the best lightweight in the world, lost to him. Paul Felder, he got a win against in a razor close back and forth battle. He beat Ally Quinta when Ally Quinta was number 6 in the world. He beat the legend of which James Vick is at number 15 when he was number 15. Dan Hooker has fought some great competition opponents. Why would Islam Makhachev not want this bout? I do not understand that. I think it would be a great matchup. Stand-up guy Dan Hooker with good takedown defense versus Islam Makhachev, a guy who does do some work on the feet but would prefer to get things to the ground. Great stylistic clash. Let's make the fight happen. There's a little bit of beef going back and forth now as well, which in my opinion makes the fight way more exciting. I think people are starting to see that Islam Makhachev maybe wasn't being ducked by top guys the whole time, because the reason Dan Hooker turned you down when you were number 15 and your best win was against Davy Ramos, he was fighting Dustin Poirier for 5 rounds and was going to war with him and won 2 of those rounds against Dustin Poirier. Look at how McGregor has been doing against Poirier. He couldn't even get out of the second round. Dan Hooker almost finished Dustin Poirier at the end of the second round. Dustin Poirier, if there's an extra 30 seconds at the end of that second round, Dan Hooker probably has a TKO win over Dustin Poirier and is fighting Conor McGregor and then looking towards a title shot. I believe that Islam Makhachev should maybe entertain this idea, because if everyone's ducking you and RDA hasn't responded and Beneil Dariush isn't responding and Gaethje isn't responding and Poirier isn't responding and other guys aren't responding like Tony Ferguson, why not take the guy that actively wants you? If you have had a problem your whole career of being ducked by opponents, why do you only want to fight the fighters that show no interest in fighting you? That makes 0 sense. Why are you actively only ruling out the one fighter that wants to take you on? Out of all of the guys in the lightweight division right now, Dan Hooker is the only man who is calling out Islam Makhachev. By sheer coincidence, Dan Hooker is the only man Islam Makhachev does not want to fight in the top 10 of the lightweight division. Why? You have your matchup, stay active, get what you want, top guy, but then you look at the rankings this morning, and Islam Makhachev is ranked number 5 in the lightweight division. And I want to talk about this as well. I'm going to get dislikes because I'm talking negatively about Islam Makhachev. Obviously, that's how it works. I can talk negatively about any fighter in the UFC I want. I can shit on Darren Till all day. I don't get hate from UK fans in any way whatsoever. Heaven forbid I mention anything bad about Islam Makhachev. There will be dislikes. I expect them. Either way, Islam Makhachev is ranked number 5 in the lightweight division for beating Drew Dober and Thiago Moises and fair enough Armand Sarukian, but when Armand Sarukian was a baby making his debut in the UFC very, very long ago. Islam Makhachev is number 5 at lightweight. After his fight against Drew Dober, he was number 11, okay? Randomly, between his time of fighting Drew Dober and Thiago Moises, he managed to bully his way above Gregor Gillespie and Kevin Lee and make his way to number 9 in the rankings. Now he's moved up another 4 positions for beating Thiago Moises. Now I need to point something out here real quick. Thiago Moises is 4-3 in the UFC. Okay? He's a young guy. He is 4-3 in the UFC. And let me tell you this as well. He lost to Bobby Green. Everyone knows he did. It was a brutal robbery. Bobby Green scored him over 3 rounds and doubled him on significant strikes every single round and still didn't get the win somehow. Thiago Moises, with correct decisions, should be 3-4 in the UFC. Islam Makhachev has just beaten him, this 3-4 UFC fighter, and he is now ranked above Tony Ferguson, Rafael dos Anjos, Dan Hooker, Conor McGregor, Gregor Gillespie. Great names in the lightweight division that Makhachev has now just leapfrogged. And he might move above Chandler still, with Chandler's inactivity. If Gaethje still doesn't accept the Chandler fight, Chandler might move down the rankings. All of a sudden, Islam Makhachev's number 4. And I reckon right now he's looking for his title elimination bout, which I don't believe he should be getting. Because Arnold Allen is not in position for a title elimination bout right now, in any way. And he's 8-0 in his division, and he never got sparked out cold, like Islam Makhachev did. So what's going on here? They're very desperate for a new fighter from Khabib's region to get the fan base going again, and they're doing whatever they can to get him to the top of that division. But I don't understand why you are being ducked by everyone, but the only person you choose not to fight out of all of them is the one person that wants to fight you. How does that make any sense in any way whatsoever? I don't buy into it. And I think Islam Makhachev has just been kind of exposed. And Dan Hooker did exactly what I said he did at the start of this video. He called Islam Makhachev's bluff. He sat there and thought, no one wants to fight you? I want to fight you. Let's see how you react to this. Makhachev says, no. I'd rather fight an 0-3 Tony Ferguson, but fighters that are 3-3 in their last 6 fights shouldn't be able to take me on. Very, very interesting. Ferguson's on a 3-fight losing streak, completely old and withered, no longer who he once was in any way whatsoever, but Makhachev is entertaining the idea of that bout over Dan Hooker, despite the fact that he's ranked above both of them now, for whatever reason that might be. But let me talk about this again. Thiago Moises is still ranked in the lightweight division. I have no idea how he is. He should be 3-4 at lightweight with a loss to Bobby Green. Even if he wins against Bobby Green, he's 4-3 at lightweight. This is the lightweight division. Why is he ranked so high? He beat Alexander Hernandez, fair play, but Hernandez just got TKO'd by Dober before that. And Moises beats him by razor close decision, and now he's above Dober? How does that make any sense in the world? Thiago Moises got whooped by Beneil Dariush. Completely destroyed. And let me tell you this as well. Damir Ismagulov is not ranked. Why? Thiago Moises is still number 15 in the lightweight division. He is 4-3 in the UFC, counting a robbery victory against Bobby Green. There is a fighter named Damir Ismagulov who easily defeated Thiago Moises in his own career. He's 4-0 in the UFC. He's beat good opponents, Yoel Alvarez. Yoel Alvarez right now is on a 3-fight winning streak in the UFC. 3-0 right now. 11-2 overall. He got beat in the UFC. I guess he's 3-1 in the UFC, but 3-0 in his last 3 bouts. That's Joe Solecki. Where is Yoel Alvarez? Yes, 3-1 in his last 4 bouts. Lost his debut to Damir Ismagulov, but has won 3 in a row. Looked really, really impressive. Got a great win over Joe Duffy, a great win over Alexander Yakovlev. Destroyed both of them relatively easily in the first round as well. 18-2 opponent. Why is Damir Ismagulov the guy who beat Thiago Moises, the guy who bounced back recently against Rafael Alves and got a great win there after a long layoff? He's active. He's undefeated in the UFC. He's 4-0. He's 20-2 overall. He's beaten Thiago Moises, and he's beaten good competition at lightweight better than Thiago Moises. He is ranked below Thiago Moises. You know why? Because he never fought Makhachev. And I swear to God, this is exactly what happens. Before Thiago Moises fought Islam Makhachev, he was a sacrificial lamb who didn't belong in there whatsoever and was a terrible fighter that's easily going to get completely steamrolled and destroyed. After Thiago Moises lost to Islam Makhachev, Thiago Moises became the best grappler around. Like, he's one of the best jiu-jitsu practitioners in the UFC. I know he couldn't do anything over 3 rounds to Alexander Hernandez in terms of grappling, but he's dangerous on the ground, guys. I know he's never been able to take down a single opponent ever in his UFC career ever, other than Islam Makhachev, but he's the best jiu-jitsu guy around. It's crazy to me. Fight Dan Hooker. He's the only one that wants to fight you, it seems like. Why do you only not want to fight the one guy that wants to fight you? And you complain about being ducked. You're ducking. See you later. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. Makhachev gets exposed. Goodbye.